I met a gypsy.
So there's like, I guess there's a ton of points, and I think at least for me, like when I posted what I posted about the situation,
which I wasn't expecting you to do.
No, I hadn't even spoke to you about it.
We didn't talk about it at all because I didn't see this being a big fucking deal. You know, I was like, oh, I can get a little bit more into why I asked the question, but I thought it was just great content. And again, it made them look like superstars, which they are.
Yeah.
In which this whole conversation should be about the superstars. And then how it got routed towards me is just hypocrisy. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you on your own show.
No, you're good. Yeah, this is your show. This is your episode. Yeah, I mean, okay, so the funniest part of it is, did you see what Steve posted like a few weeks ago when I did the Pete Fox podcast?
Oh, I think I did.
So
where he was wanting, oh, I've already done that and I didn't get as much clout before. Jace is copying me. That's kind of what it was. And then you had like this epic response back where you chased the...
Yeah, he basically said like, how is this the untold story of Pete Fox? I've done this podcast before, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, Pookie, like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, what are you talking? And I don't have Twitter. Like, I have an account, but like, I don't have it on my phone. I don't use it. Last time I posted was like 2021. And I'm at the fucking...
We should. I mean, it's called X now, if we're being...
X, yeah. But so I don't use it. I don't like do anything with Twitter. And I don't even know.
You're missing out. I've got some crypto friends that say that they're making like 40
2021. Like, look at all the dumb shit that I used to post. So anyway, so I was at Elsinore and then tons of people were coming up to me and being like, oh, the Steve thing, and I'm like, I didn't even see this. So I downloaded Twitter to see it. And then I was like, oh, okay. I actually think I've got a pretty funny response. So I just changed the title of the untold story. Yeah, there you go, of how Fox. I don't make the titles also, by the way. My wonderful producer, Ethan, does all of this. Yeah, so then I changed it to...
It should be clickable, am I right?
100%. And also, I'm pretty sure our channel has like 100 million views extra over Pulp. So like, we obviously have an audience that might not have seen your... If there's 100 million extra views on our channel...
Or... maybe they just wanted to see it again and done in a different way.
Maybe they have no fucking idea who Pulp MX even is. So anyway, the retelling of the Pete Fox story, that's Steve Pulp MX told first. I thought that was funny and quite...
Dude, I laughed at that.
And quite harmless.
I didn't see that until your tweet. What is it still considered a tweet or is it an X post now?
A post, I don't even know.
Yeah, whatever. But until you brought me to X.
Yeah, well, I looked for your thing and you don't even hear it. So anyway, the funniest part in all of this is if Steve didn't say that, I wouldn't have even had Twitter on my phone to send the tweet about this. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna...
Well, and dude, the same deal with me is if the Jasons and Steve didn't get me involved, put me in a situation where it's totally fair for me to defend my view on stuff, because that's what I've been doing in this industry the entire time, is because I've been out of a box, right? Like the way I look at stuff is get out of the box, try to do things a little bit differently. I wouldn't have done anything because it wasn't a big fucking deal at all. You know, it was
well, and I think
a low ball question.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, it obviously, like, so I watched the thing with the Jasons and Steve, and yeah, like, Weege brings it up, like, what do you think of the question? But it's like, I think it just took people by surprise that, like, you asked the question and got the kind of response that you did, and Jet was laughing, and like, it was beautiful, like, it was just done, it was just great content.
And of my 15 million views that I got, I guarantee there is at least half that was...
What got 15 million views, that question?
Well, just accumulatively,
Yeah.
you know, like I'm not saying just that
Yeah,
question
yeah, yeah.
because that's not like the most popular stuff. Like that's not my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse is tearing down the riders, seeing how they're
Yeah,
riding,
yeah.
but like accumulatively between my YouTube, the TikTok, and Instagram. You
Yeah.
know, so like that just adds into the algorithm to just boost. Oh, we're gonna send you more videos by this
Yeah.
SOB type of a thing.
Yeah.
But there were so many other, I will say, bigger Instagram accounts that were taking that content and they were making their own too.
Which content?
The interview and
Oh, yeah,
some of the
yeah.
other stuff,
Yeah.
which they totally
But,
should.
and also, like, and so we'll get into it. So, also, I'll preface this for everybody listening. Everything that I'm saying to you now, I've literally said to Steve in private. So, none of this is something that I would not be prepared to say to him. It's probably going to be longer than and more nuanced than what I said to him. But he messaged me straight away, and we would after I posted, and so then
that's what he did with me when I
so we went
rebutted.
back and forth, and like I'm not really going to post screenshots or whatever, but I'm pretty comfortable to relay the conversation. But everything that I'm saying now, I've literally said to him ahead of this. So anyway.
But truthfully, like, I don't understand the super backlash that Steve was getting. Because, like, truthfully, it was Jason, you know, Weege that brought it up on that show. Right? And the thing that I had somewhat, like, if we're getting more, if I'm backing up, you know, since I'm being unfiltered. So right before the press conference, you know, there was 4 of us sitting there, right? And so there's nothing going on. So asked AP, hey, AP, is there anything that you want to ask us? And he's like, okay, Johnny, how do you feel today? You know, so he was already like laying up like, this is a stupid question. How many stupid questions there are.
Yeah.
And so then, you know, the whole press conference started, and as I'm sitting there, you know, I see Tomac and AP, and I asked the technical question that I want to ask Jet about his riding style, which honestly I thought that was a better question. I got the answer that I wanted, and then I'm like, you know what, this is interesting. Here's an opportunity.
Yeah.
I know that Tomac cannot say a damn thing because of legally, right? But I'm going, hypothetically, if he did ride the KTM and he is going to sign a contract, he probably did it with the whole team there and maybe even AP to be like, hey, how do you feel? Like, what are the clickers you're using, whatever. So I thought, let's ask AP, how does he like being teammates? So it was very creative.
Yeah.
And overall, I think what the media had an issue with was that they had access to this information, which, you know, roundabout way, I get access to a lot of the information, even though I feel I'm a little bit on the outs where it's like, oh, don't tell him. And they wanted to be the ones to drop the info, right? If it happens or if it doesn't happen. But like on some of the other shows of Steve's, he goes, oh yeah, it's for sure a done deal. And I'm like, why are you mad at me? Why just, again, let's build a table. Let's not build a wall. Because if you want to make more money, if I want to make more money, if we have a smaller piece of the pie, but it's a much larger pie, it's a win-win for everybody. Right? Your audience is different than mine. Let's collaborate. Let's make it bigger. This is the new way how business is run and social media and the whole ideology of clicks. It's like, dude, I know who signs your checks, and it's got a lot to do with clicks, just like everybody.
Yeah. Well, that's literally the name of the game. And let's look at the chat, like everyone's channels. Like we started doing the YouTube clips and all that first. And then everyone's doing it. So what's changed? Like, do you just want more clicks on you? Is that what it is? You want more clicks and you want more clout? Yes. That's the fucking answer that you want. Like, yes, that is what you want. Yes, that's what I want. That's what this whole business is. Like, we should be making good content that people want to click on. So to throw it out there like he's doing it for fame and money and clout. No, bro. That's literally the job. That's literally the only reason that we're here. And it's the same reason you now do clicks and clips, and you now do clickbait.
Yeah, dude, you've made me steal like an artist.
But everyone has, and you all should. It's the best practice. That's best practice in this industry and in media in general.
And if I'm just going full circle here, like the press conference is over with, and I don't know who was behind me or what, but I do know, that once the women got up there, some of the people from the media left.
Yeah.
And so there was 3 of us asking questions now. And I'm like, guys, we owe them the respect to be here. I'm not even a fucking journalist, but I'm respecting these women's they're out here giving it their all, can get seriously injured. We deserve to be here as the media members, not just dip out, So I'd like to see a change that way as well. Like, Jace, you know that there's some things, you have an awesome job, right? And you love it. You're passionate about it. Me, I can't complain about my life. Like, literally yesterday, I did some work. Then I took my daughter to the pool. And then I did some more work. And then I took her to see a movie. Like, I can't complain about the lifestyle that I live. It's awesome. But there is certain aspects that are not enjoyable.
There's certain aspects of this that suck.
The press conference, I don't fucking enjoy the press conferences, right? Because there's been more times than not that I've looked like a complete ass, right? And I haven't gotten the rapport or, respect is earned kind of a thing to not just from the media, but from the writers as well, to where they were genuinely going to not just give me a one-word answer, right? But you know what? I sucked it up. I just kept going back and boom, 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 and I don't necessarily know where I'm going with that, but I'm just.
No, okay. I'll pick up there for you. Okay. So this is that's why I just even entered the chat. Like, normally I don't give a fuck for any of it. And I was like, no, this is very reminiscent of the he doesn't go to the races shit that was carried on with in 2020 when I'm in Motorspy. And that was an issue because I was literally unable to go to the races for both visa reasons and COVID. No one was able to travel. So to be called out for that, I was like, oh, okay. So this doesn't have, didn't care that, had no awareness around, who I was, the relationships that I had, how I got the guests on that I had on, how I had the information that I had. There was just this whole big picture, and it's you actually don't even give a fuck to do any research on this. This is a full-blown gatekeeping. This is just a gatekeeping exercise where you're trying to discredit a person that you don't want in your space, right? And that's what this looked like to me, because all the justification of, and this is before AP just said all of this. So in my mind, I'm listening to the reaction, and it's oh, they put the riders in this weird position. AP's, and I was sitting at home being no, he's not.
Dude, and if you're making $1 million or more or close to it, you have somewhat of an obligation to be able to answer a tough question.
Or be a big boy.
And say no.
And just say, oh, look, mate, I'm staying out of it. Fine. That's just as fine of an answer as the one that he gave. I like the answer he gave better. And
me too.
Great content. But just as fine if he says, oh, look, mate, I'm not answering. So that's on him to do that. So that, to me, when I heard that, I was like, that's just back on that bullshit. And to me, it comes across as such a bully mentality and up on this high horse talking shit on someone that's at a press conference that you yourself are too fucking above going to. And it literally says on the media pass credentials, Attendance at the press conference is mandatory. And it's not just Steve. And this is where I just decided to enter the chat. Because for the last 2 years, I've been so fucking disappointed by the lack of inspiration and the lack of attendance of people that are supposedly the best people in the sport from a media perspective. And they're just not there. And they're the same fucking people that will be like, oh yeah, press conference is shit. It's a waste of time. Feld doesn't do this. Feld doesn't do that. How the fuck do you expect something to get better by sitting on the sidelines and actively, like by going after the race and just doing your own thing, talking to their own right? You're actually hurting the press conference. So not only is your attendance, like, it's not at zero, it's actually detracting from
you can
it.
add value
1,000,000%
of the different relationship and the different spin that you have on stuff.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.